Imagine being told that the only way to survive what's about to happen is to clench your teeth and endure the pain. No anesthetic, no modern medicine, no escape, just grit, determination, and whatever happened to be within reach. Today, we use the phrase "bite the bullet" whenever someone has to face an unpleasant task or accept something difficult. Whether it's paying a huge bill, admitting a mistake, or making a tough decision, the meaning is instantly understood. But did people really bite actual bullets? And if they did, how did that strange act become one of the most enduring expressions in the English language? Let's find out together as we uncover the story behind the question, why do we say bite the bullet? Right here on History of Simple Things. Bite the bullet has become a universal way of describing courage under pressure. It doesn't mean enjoying hardship or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it means accepting that something unpleasant simply has to be done. It's the phrase people use before going to the dentist, ending a failing business, taking a difficult exam, or making an uncomfortable phone call. The idea is simple: stop delaying, face the pain, and get through it. But the phrase feels unusually vivid. Unlike many idioms whose origins are completely mysterious, this one seems to paint a very specific image. Someone literally biting down on a piece of metal while enduring incredible suffering. That raises an obvious question: did that ever actually happen? The most common explanation takes us to military battlefields during the 18th and 19th centuries. Back then, surgery was a terrifying experience. Before the widespread use of anesthesia in the mid-19th century, injured soldiers often had to undergo amputations or other emergency operations while fully conscious. Doctors worked as quickly as possible because speed often meant survival. But no matter how skilled they were, the pain was unimaginable. To stop patients from biting through their tongues or breaking their teeth, they were sometimes given something to bite on. It could be a strip of leather, a wooden stick, a piece of cloth, or whatever sturdy object happened to be available. Popular culture often claims that this object was a lead musket ball or bullet. The image is dramatic, memorable, and easy to imagine. It certainly helps cement the phrase in people's minds. Despite how popular the story is, historians have struggled to find solid evidence that soldiers regularly bit actual bullets during surgery. Medical journals, military records, and surgeons' writings from the time frequently mention patients biting on leather straps, wooden handles, folded cloth, or other objects. References to actual bullets are surprisingly rare. In fact, a lead bullet would have been a poor choice. It was small, smooth, and difficult to grip between the teeth. It could easily slip, creating another hazard during surgery. That doesn't mean it never happened. On chaotic battlefields where supplies were limited, almost anything within reach might have been used in an emergency. But there is little historical proof that biting bullets was a common medical practice. Ironically, the phrase may owe more to storytelling than everyday reality. There's another explanation that deserves attention. Early soldiers often had to bite open paper cartridges containing gunpowder before loading their muskets. The cartridge held both the powder and the musket ball wrapped together in paper. The loading process required soldiers to tear the cartridge open with their teeth before pouring in the powder. Although they weren't literally biting the bullet itself, they were certainly biting into ammunition as part of preparing for combat. Some language experts believe that this military routine may have influenced later expressions associated with courage and facing danger. However, there isn't enough evidence to say this is the definitive origin either. Like many old sayings, bite the bullet probably evolved through a mixture of real practices, dramatic storytelling, and repeated use over generations. Interestingly, the expression itself appears much later than many people expect. The earliest confirmed written examples date to the late 19th century rather than the height of the Napoleonic Wars or the American Civil War. One of the earliest known appearances comes from an 1891 novel by Rudyard Kipling. In the story, a character is told to bite on the bullet while enduring painful medical treatment. Whether Kipling invented the phrase or simply recorded an expression already used in spoken English remains unclear, but his writing helped spread it to a much wider audience. As newspapers, books, and later films adopted the expression, it gradually became part of everyday English around the world. Many old idioms disappear as society changes. Bite the bullet survived because its meaning remains timeless. Every generation faces difficult moments. We all encounter situations where there is no pleasant option, only the least painful one. The phrase perfectly captures that emotional moment between fear and action. What's fascinating is that most people using the expression today have no connection to muskets, battlefield surgery, or 19th century military life. Yet the image remains powerful because everyone understands the feeling behind it. Language often preserves tiny pieces of history long after the original circumstances have faded away. Even if the historical details become blurred, the emotional truth stays remarkably clear. That's one reason idioms like this continue to thrive centuries later. So, why do we say bite the bullet? The answer is more complicated than the popular story suggests. While the phrase is closely associated with soldiers enduring surgery without anesthesia, historians haven't found enough evidence to prove that biting actual bullets was a widespread medical practice. Instead, the expression likely grew from a blend of military life, historical events, and vivid storytelling until it came to represent something universal, facing hardship with courage and determination. It's a reminder that some of our most familiar sayings carry echoes of the past, even when their true origins remain partly hidden by time. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.